guys, welcome to the channel. Hope you're all safe and healthy. So today I'm here, or I'm going to one of my favorite car manufacturers dealership, and it's Ferrari. And the dealers for Ferrari here in Saudi Arabia, the name is Fast Auto Technique. And the car I'm here to take a look at today is the SF90, which among the current Ferraris is also one of my favorites. At the number one, my most favorite current Ferrari is the Ferrari Roma, just for the fact that it's more comfortable for me. But the new design language that Ferrari is going towards is pretty good, and nowadays most of their cars are really good looking. So if you enjoy videos like these and you want to see more, so do consider subscribing, and also do like the video and comment down below what you like about this video later on. So let's not waste any more time and take a look at the car. Okay, so here's the SF90 Stradale. So let me tell you a bit about the car. So SF stands for Scuderia Ferrari. That is the name of their racing team, and 90 stands for the 90 years of their racing team. And Stradale is basically their street in Italian. So basically what Ferrari are trying to say, it's an F1 car for the road. So that's a pretty nice claim. So SF90 is also the name of their F1 car. So that's how this is all connected. So now this one specifically has the Assetto Fiorano pack. What that means is basically a track pack. So it has titanium, I believe some titanium suspension components. You have a titanium exhaust, and all that stuff helps to reduce the weight down to by around 70 pounds. That's like 30 to 35 kgs. Now talking about the car, the platform is basically the same as the F8 Tributo, and also the, I believe, Pista and all that stuff. So it's basically the same, and what they have done is they have added a bit more carbon fiber and all that stuff to strengthen the car and also keep it a bit light, because due to the hybrid batteries of this car, the weight does increase, and it weighs around 1770 kgs. So pretty heavy, but the performance this car has, it makes that weight, it doesn't account for anything due to the performance of this car. Now let's talk about the design. So they have changed a bit of the design when compared to the F8 Tributo. Normally Ferrari used to have L-shaped headlights, but now they're changing to a more horizontal variant. So over here you can see how the LED light looks pretty good, and you have your LED DRLs here, and this part is basically an air intake which helps to cool the brakes from here. And I have the key. The key is basically a nice big Ferrari badge just taken from here. It looks like that. Now this one is the grey color, but you can get it in that color also. Then at the back you have a leather part which has the lock and unlock buttons, and also the SF90 is written right over there. So when I hit unlock, you can see the headlights turn on, and you have your indicators also on this side, and these are the headlights look. Then also, since this has the Assetto Fiorano pack, you get this livery on the car which covers this full portion of the car, and also it goes all the way to the back. And you have some more air intakes on this side which cover the interior or the front of the car, which again helps for downforce. Then what else you have, if you want, you can delete this paint option or livery option, and you can just get it in standard paint. Personally this does look good, but my favorite color is the Rosso Corsa. So that's a typical Ferrari red, and personally I believe all Ferraris should be red. They just look good in that color. Then over here you have some parking sensors. You have more air intakes which are pretty open, and since this also has the exterior carbon fiber pack, which I believe you get as standard on the Assetto Fiorano, you have this parts in carbon fiber. This part you have your front splitter and all that stuff in carbon fiber. So now let's come to the side. So on the side you have your body shape. You can see the body shape is pretty similar to the F8 Tributo, because it's basically the same car, but with a lot of chassis changes. So you have your Ferrari Scuderia or Scuderia Ferrari shield here, and it also comes as standard. Then with the Assetto Fiorano pack you get your carbon fiber wheels as standard. Then let me just check the size. Okay, if I get the size, I'll just put it out down below so it'll be easier for you to see. Then you have your carbon ceramic brakes with the yellow calipers. Again, you can choose any caliper you want, but I personally like the Ferrari yellows, because you can easily read the whatever is written over there clearly, and it looks good too. Then you have your door mirrors on the side, which are mounted pretty low on the door sill, on the door,
and they are pretty good size, and they give you a nice view of the car at the back. And also being mounted here, it improves a bit of the visibility from here, so it looks good. Then let's talk about the roof design. So you get contrast black roof as standard on all SF90s, even this. So that's how this one is. Then you have your antenna here, and you have your livery pack because of the asset of Fiorano. Then on this side of the car, you have a pretty big air intake, and you can see the radiator below. So you have the air intake is basically divided into two parts. I believe this is to cool the brakes, I'm not sure, and this is for the engine. So maybe like that, or maybe it's reversed, but I'm not sure about that. Then you have your side skirt down below. Then at the back you have your the rear wheels are also pretty huge. If I get the size, I'll put it for you down. Yeah, these are 315 tires, and these are 20 inch, and again the same huge brake calipers at the side. Then over here you have some more cutouts for with the radiators hidden behind there. So again, it helps to improve the airflow and also remove the heat. Now with the Assetto Fiorano, what do you have is basically the rear spoiler. You get this gurney flap, which on the normal SF90 is flat, but here you get an extended gurney flap, which in combination of this active rear spoiler helps to increase the downforce on the track. Then here you have the engine. So I'll open that in a bit before. So let me just, before that I'll talk about all this stuff. So the SF90 has a bit of a different design compared to standard Ferraris. Standard Ferraris have circles in their headlights, and this one has a bit of a squircle. You can say a square and a circle mix. So how the indicators work, I'll just show it to you. So you have the indicators here, and I believe the reverse light is on this side. You have your more air intakes on this side, which help to again cool or bring the air out from the back wheels and reduce pressure. Then you have some more air intakes here, and let's talk about this side now. So you have a bit of an open space here. Now this again, generally when the car is at high speed, it helps the airflow to be as smooth as possible to reach a higher top speed. But when you need a bit more downforce, the spoiler at the top, which I told you about, comes down here, and the air is pushed up using this gurney flap to increase downforce. Then you have your exhaust pipes. Now these ones are in black, and they're pretty big, so also it will sound pretty good, which later on I'll put a clip of. Then you have your rear camera here. One thing I like is you can see how low the gearbox is of the car. And there's another engineering feat they have done is they have put the engine pretty low, which I'll show you later on. Then you can see the diffuser. It has a bit of a cutout again just to help with the downforce, and you have your reverse camera here. Now that's done, so let me just open the engine bay and I'll talk about that. Okay, so at the back you have this, since being this is a hybrid model, you have your petrol cap there, and you have your hybrid charging part over there. And this is where the main magic of this car is. So you have a 4-liter twin turbo V8. So let me just open it up. There we go. So you have a 4-liter twin turbo V8, which is put pretty down low. Generally they are about on this side of the car, but it is mounted pretty low to keep the center of gravity low of this car. You can see some of the wires of the hybrid system, and also most of the engine bay is carbon fiber. Also the middle part is in carbon fiber. Mostly I like it in red, but if you go for the exterior carbon option, you get that in carbon fiber. If I was to buy this car, I would definitely go with that red cover. It just looks a bit more good. Then you can see all the engine bracing over here. And generally one thing, you don't have hydraulic struts here. It's a weight saving measure. You get a small stick on the side which you can help to prop this door up, but now it's pretty light, so I can hold it with one hand. It's not a big issue. So now that we're done, let me put this down. So let me talk about the engine. So 4-liter twin turbo V8 with around 780 horsepower. It is attached to 3 electric motors, one which is in the middle of the new 8-speed gearbox and 2 in the front wheels. So the electric motors provide 220 horsepower. So So in total you have 1000 horsepower and around 800 Newton meters of torque, I believe. So because of that, this car can go from 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds and 0 to 200 in 6.7 seconds. And it has a top speed of 340 and more than that. So now that's done, I will play a clip of how this car sounds. Okay, so I hope you heard the sound of the car. It is pretty good, but generally not as good as a V12. So, but that's to be expected. They didn't go for a V12 because cost savings, and also the fact that the emissions also are getting pretty strict, so they cannot afford to put a V12 back there. But the V8 does sound good enough. So to get inside, you have your door handle here. You have to push inside here, and this is for your keyless entry. You can lock the car or unlock it manually if you want. So you have to push down, and that's how it opens the door. So that's all. That's the way you get inside. And now we'll get inside the car and talk about the interior. Okay guys, so one thing I forgot to mention was the front boot of the car. So due to the electric motors being here at the front, you don't get a lot of boot space, but you have general enough space for a small bag or something like that, just for a weekend trip. And this part you get, this is something I like about Ferrari. All the options you select for the car, they put it nicely in a plaque and attach it over here. Then they are now proudly displaying their electric motors or the electric, all those wires and stuff from here, like how they display the engines at the back. So now this will be the new thing going in the future. And they have given this acronym RACE, which means is I believe it's called rotation axis control electric. So what that basically is that the motors help when, for suppose you're turning the car, the outermost wheel, the motor will provide it a bit more power so that it helps the car turn faster. So that's what it is basically an electric version of torque steer. So that's how that will be there. And also one thing I forgot to mention, with the 8-speed gearbox, you don't get a reverse gear. All the cars reversing is handled by the electric motors. And the name of the paint is right over here, which you can see clearly. So that's how you can see the paint. It's tough for me to pronounce it. And this is the carbon fiber. All the hood is in carbon fiber. So now that's done. Okay, so one thing about the door card, guys, I wanted to show you is that when you go for the Assetto Fiorano option, or the track pack, you get this sill plate which says Assetto Fiorano, otherwise it just says standard Ferrari. So now after this we'll get inside and take a look at the interior. Okay guys, so I am in the interior of the SF90 Stradale, and let's talk about the quality first. Since this one has the Assetto Fiorano option, most of it is in carbon fiber. You can see the door trim here. You have matte carbon here, you have glossy carbon on this side, and the detail is pretty high. I'm not sure if the phone can see. Yep, there you can see it now. Then you have your door handle here with the nice leather around it, and this one has the JBL speaker system. I think it comes as standard, I'm not sure though. So you have your JBL speakers here. Then you have some buttons here. So this is to open the front boot, this is to open your fuel gate, and this is for your charging. Then you have some door pockets here which are pretty small, but you can store some stuff over there. Then let's talk about the side sill. So now the side sill is pretty wide, and I had a tough time getting in because of my size also. And over here you have your latch to open the engine bay. So that's all. You have more carbon fiber here at the back. So now let's talk about the interior a bit. So again, dash quality as expected from Ferrari will be really good. You have soft touch leather here, and you have your nice contrast yellow stitching here. And this one has the interior carbon pack, so because of that, this one you have all these parts are in carbon fiber. You have the name written here, SF90 Stradale. Then you have you have some screens. You have one here that's almost a screen, touch screen. Then you have the main 16-inch instrument display here. Then you have some more controls here. So we'll talk about that a bit. Since this is the Assetto Fiorano option or version, you don't get a glove box in the standard variant or non-track pack variant. You have a glove box here. Then you have your AC vents on this side, and that's all there is to show on the dashboard itself. So let's talk about the seats. So these are the racing bucket seats which you get as standard on this, on the Assetto Fiorano especially, and they are pretty body hugging, and me having a pretty large body size, I am sitting comfortably, but I did have a hard time getting inside. But that's obviously not the issue of the seats, that's the issue of me being a pretty large guy. Then you have your they have put a weight saving measure here, and that's the latches to push the seat forward and back. And you have another strap on this side which if you pull it, helps to move the backrest forward and back. That's all. Then you have some storage space at the back, not a lot. You can just keep a small bag or something like that. Then you have a nice central carbon fiber, what you can say, just part of the body. I think it's integrated into the chassis, and you can also see the carbon fiber on the seats. Then here in the middle you have some space which you can store a phone or something you can keep over here. You have a charging port here, and this is to connect your phone. And this one I'm not sure if it has it or not, but you do get Apple CarPlay as standard, or you can option it out, it's up to you. Then this is the place to keep the key, and it's nicely integrated. You can just keep it here, and then you won't have an issue of it flying anywhere. Then you have a small cup holder here and some more storage space. Here also you can keep your phone, and if you get the interior carbon fiber pack, you have this part in carbon fiber and also this part. Usually I think otherwise it's in aluminum, I'm not sure. Then you have your two window controls here, and you have your gear selector. Now the gear selector is designed to look like the old school, the manuals which had the dog leg, I believe, or gated manuals. So you have your automatic, you have your manual mode here, this is for your reverse, and this is for launch control. Then you have your hazard button here, and one nice thing over here is when you push down, you can see how it nicely pulses towards the M, and when you push up, it pulses up towards the A. So I like that attention to detail. Then you have some controls. These are the climate controls. So to increase the fan speed, you have to press this. So you can see it shows up over there, and you can switch it off also by here. If you want to increase the temperature, you can tap here and increase the temperature or decrease it. Then you have what I believe this is I'm not sure, let me just see what it says. It doesn't say anything for now. I think it's a heating function. Then you have your I think this controls where the air is blowing towards you, up, down, all that controls are in this side. Then you have your auto function, and I believe this is a mirror defroster. Then all that is done. So let's check out this screen. Now here, this is for your climate control, this is for your performance page. So this shows your rev counter, the gear indicator, and also your kilometer per hour, that is the speed. And that's all there is. This also shows you currently if it's in hybrid mode and using the electric motors, it'll show you that it's using the front wheels only. That's done. Then you have your audio, navigation. Your passenger can see the navigation from here, and you can input a destination also, I believe. Then you have some settings for your brightness and all that stuff. So now that's done. Let's come to the main highlight of the SF90, and that's this 16-inch instrument display. Now currently you can see it's set up to have a yellow rev counter, and being digital, there's one advantage you have is that you can configure this color to be anything from black, red, aluminum, anything else. So let's see if we go into vehicle now, and you can see the other functions. These are showing the tire pressure and some engine temperature, coolant temperature, all that stuff. Then you can swipe down. It's pretty fast. Yeah, you have to just slowly swipe down here, otherwise it goes more down. Now this is the hybrid system. Here you can configure the hybrid system to especially work with the engine if you want to keep the charge up. Then you have to go down again. This shows you your trip, so maximum speed and all that stuff. Then this shows you your G meter. Then you can go back, Then you have your audio, then you have your navigation. If you press navigation, that screen will shift over here and you can see your screen here. And if you press View Max on the steering wheel, it shows you a big navigation screen over here. Then you can press View Max again and it shows you a rev counter here in the middle. Let me just zoom in so you can see clearly. So it shows you a rev counter in this manner, but personally I prefer this way. Then what else we have, let's check it out. So you have your phone, and in settings you can go to car, and I think yeah, HUD display. So you have your heads up display right over there. I'm sure you can see that, and you can configure that from here. Then you have your shift lights, lock sound, wiper sensibility, time format. All that stuff is available here. So let me just go back again. Okay, just wait a second, I was finding something. Okay, so it's not in car, maybe it's in infotainment, something like that. So keyboard layout, display settings, and there we go. You have themes, and in the themes you can change the rev counter how you like it. So there we go, we press OK, and you can wait, it didn't change. Okay, there we go. Now we see it's red. You have a lot of color options. Currently we'll keep it in yellow. That's how I like it. Then you have a lot of other display settings also. So now that's done. Then let's take out the other things you have available. I believe if you swipe across this way, yeah, I just pressed it this by mistake. That's the climate control settings. So you have a bit more controls for your climate control in this display rather than this. So you can control all that from here. Then we can go back, and I believe if we swipe across, it should change some of the displays. I'm not sure. It should do that, but it's not doing for me. I don't know why. Okay, so you have some more buttons at the back of the steering wheel. I'm not sure if I can show it to you clearly. Yep, right there. So that way you can change your radio controls and all that stuff. And you have similar style buttons on the other side of the steering wheel. With that you can control the volume. Then you have nothing else. So what other information that is displayed, let me just show you that. So the other displays you have are you have your charge meter here, which shows you the full charge or charge status of the battery. It also shows you can go 25 kilometer. Then you have your fuel range here. This is the odometer and the range which you can go on a full tank or something like that. You have your light controls here. Then you have nothing else, that's all. Then on the steering wheel itself, let's take a look. So you have your indicators here in standard Ferrari fashion. You have your cruise control here. You have your voice assistant. Then you have your I think this is for your increasing the speed or decreasing for your cruise control. Then on this side, like I showed you before, you have your View Max. You have your touch sensitive slider or touchpad to control the digital display. Then on this side you have your windshield controls, and also you have your light controls here. Then in the middle, the main feature are the engine start stop button. So you can start your engine from here, and also you can start your electronics from here. Then you have your Manantino switch. Now this has various other functions. Now you can see when I changed it, it went to wet. So this will help you drive in rainy conditions or wet conditions. Then you can change to sport. Then you have race, and you have CT off, and also you have another function that is stability control off. For that you have to hold it on that side. For now we'll keep it on sport. Then on this side you have eManantino. So what eManantino is, this is the basically this switch, just more digital for the electric motors. So now you can go into eDrive. So you see the display changes. It shows you your charge percentage, how much boost you're using from the electric motors, and it highlights the particular mode you're in, and the others fade back into the background. Then you see when I touch hybrid, it highlights that. You have your normal screen here. Then you have performance mode, and it changes the display again over there. Then you have qualifying mode, and qualifying is basically your full attack mode, which you will use on the track. So that's all in that. Then on the steering wheel itself, you have your carbon fiber. Since I told you this has a carbon fiber interior pack, you get carbon fiber here. You have carbon fiber paddle shifters. You also have carbon fiber on the top, and you also get shift lights on this side. Then you have your some mirror controls here. Now this mirror control button will help you fold the mirrors. That way you can fold that. Then you can select whichever mirror you want to control, and with that you can change the mirror settings. So let me just show you how it works. You have to, if I swipe down, you can see it moves down, and you have to swipe down like this, or you can hold it also. So a bit finicky, you do, but I think you can get a lot of better control from that. Then you have some headlight controls here also, and you have your parking cameras. For some reason it's not showing on. Then this is for your parking sensors, you can switch them on or off. So for now, when you go into reverse, you automatically get the reversing camera here. If I get a photo of that, I'll put it up over here so you can understand that. Currently it's not working. For that I'll have to start the car, which will not be nice in the showroom, so I'll do that later. I'll put up a photo for your reference. So that's all there is to show in this part of the interior. One thing, so you have more touch controls here for your lights. You can touch that, and over here also. So you have a lot. These are your reading lights and also your lights when you open the door. You can configure that from that. Then you have all these different buttons here also for your lock, alarm system and all that stuff. Then you have your visors, pretty small visors with no mirrors. Now me being 194 or 5 centimeter, I am pretty comfortable. I have some good amount of legroom. I can sit comfortably. I have the steering wheel at a high position, so because of that I have a good view to the digital instrument cluster. And generally speaking, even these seats don't feel very cramped for me. But the main issue I have is headroom. So you can see I have almost no headroom, despite you can say I am wearing a cap, so because of that my head is touching. But even if I didn't have the cap, I would say my head would still touch on the roof. So that's an issue. I'll have to drive like this. If I get to drive this car, I'll have to be a bit bent down, so that will be a bit tough for me. Generally speaking, the visibility from my point of view is pretty good. You can see the corners of the car pretty nicely, and this part is a bit thick, but you can still place the car very easily. One problem is that you have pretty low visibility at the back, but that's to be expected in a car like this. You have your reverse camera to help you for that reason, but you get a nice view to the engine bay and also out at the back. So that's all there is.
Okay, so that was the video on the Ferrari SF90 Stradale. Hope you enjoyed it a lot, and if you did, do comment down below on what parts of the video you did like, and also leave a like, and do consider subscribing, because it's my goal to be recognized enough so that manufacturers like Ferrari or even others invite me to launch events where I get to drive the cars. So to reach that level, I'll need your help. So do subscribe, and also do hit the bell icon so that you will be the first ones to know when I upload the latest videos. And also I am opening my new Instagram channel, the FS Auto Vlogs. I will be putting it down in the description below, so do consider going there and also following me on Instagram. So thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.